great week in the middle school at Greenwich Country Day. We got lots to get through today, and so we're going to get the party started. But before we do, I want to offer a premature props before the official props come in to Sam Koblenz. Props to Sam Koblenz. Sam Koblenz, the music you hear at the beginning of the Tiger News segment every week was composed by Sam Koblenz in our very own music tech studio. And so props to you, Sam Koblenz, for composing the Tiger News jingle. And so moving on from that early icebreaker props, we're going to start this week the way we do every week with the Pledge of Allegiance. And this week, Gabe Mortegi, lead us in the pledge, my man.
Hi, my name is Gabe and I'm in 7th grade. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Awesome job, Gabe. Thank you so much. Moving on to props. We got a bunch of collective props to give this week. So we're going to give out props to whole history classes. And that's because last week, the 8th grade history sections helped us get ready for the election by broadcasting a series of really great videos, which we watched at the beginning of every day of school last week. And so, props first and foremost to Mr. Kelly's class, props to Mr. Castrogano's class, props to Mrs. Aronowski's class, and also we hope you feel better soon, Mrs. Aronowski. We know you've been under the weather. Props to Mr. Spencer's class, and props to Mr. Rhodey and Miss Hawkins' class. You guys did an awesome job making those videos, and I know that everybody got to make one, and then there was sort of a luck of the draw which one got pulled out of the hat to be made famous all week, and so congratulations to you if your video is one of the ones that made you famous. So let's talk a little bit about last week before we go on to talk a little bit about this week. Last week there were all sorts of really cool adventures going on in the middle school. It was Halloween, and everybody looked great in their costumes on Friday. It was a really spirited Halloween celebration in the middle school, and so I loved it. Thank you also to everybody for making sure that your costumes were inclusive, that they didn't have like weaponry or things like this, and also that they were culturally sensitive and mindful, that you dressed as a character or in a costume and you didn't dress as a culture. That was awesome. And so great job on Halloween last week. Also, before that, the 8th grade spent the day on Wednesday visiting the upper school. They got to eat lunch up there. They got to hang out with upper school teachers and get a taste for what life was like at the upper school. And that was a really fun event, and I hope the 8th graders enjoyed it. 7th graders, you also had an exciting week last week. While the 8th graders were at the upper campus, you were doing a scavenger hunt. And I know you were doing a scavenger hunt because when I pulled out of my parking space to drive up to the upper school to join the 8th graders, I almost ran over a handful of you who were running around like maniacs trying to look for clues and things like this. That was awesome, but also not so awesome. And so, yes, run around and have fun and participate in a scavenger hunt. But please look both ways before you cross the street. And 6th grade, you all went to French Farm over the course of a few days last week. I know that place well because I get to live there. Jealous? It's awesome, isn't it? And I'm really glad that you all were able to get over there and get a closer look at the sheep and the chickens and the gardens and the greenhouses and everything else that is right in our backyard. And other grades should look forward to opportunities to visit French Farm in the very near future. Coming up this week, guess what happens this week, Tigers? Parent-teacher conferences start. Bum, bum, bum. What does that mean? Good news, no school Friday. Whoop, whoop! Bad news? Your teachers are going to be zooming in with your parents and getting the skinny on your performance in class since the first day of school. I suspect that most of those reports are going to be really positive ones. And here's my suggestion, though, to all of the Tigers that are getting ready for their parents to participate in parent-teacher conferences. It's best to be really transparent with your parents ahead of time and let them know what you expect your teachers will have to say about you. And so go home this week and talk to your families and tell them, you know, I think that my math teacher is probably going to say this. I think my English teacher is probably going to say that, so on and so forth. And help make sure that your parents are set up for a successful conference and that you are too. The other important thing is to think of these as the midpoint of our first term. So that actually happens next Friday, is the end of the first interim, which means we'll be halfway through the semester. And so these conferences are also an opportunity for you to sort of check in with yourself, check in with your advisor, check in with your teachers, and make sure that you're moving in the right direction for the rest of the semester. The grades that you'll earn in the first interim are not grades that go on a formal transcript, but they are factored into the grades that you get at the end of the semester, and those do go on the formal transcript. So if you're doing a great job, keep up the good work, and if you got room for improvement, find it and get started. The last note I want to touch on here before we turn it over to our birthday presentations has to do with another big event that is this week, and that is the election. On Tuesday night, tomorrow night, we will vote for, or people will go to the polls to vote for the next president of the United States. Obviously, already a lot of votes have come pouring in because of mail-in ballots and early voting and things like this. But I want to make sure that when we arrive at school on Wednesday, everybody is prepared to deal appropriately with the outcome of the election. And so that means if you had your fingers crossed hoping that President Trump would get another 4 years, then if that ends up being the outcome, I hope that when you come to school, it is not gloating and grandstanding and doing all sorts of obnoxious things. Likewise, if you are hoping for a change and have your fingers crossed for Vice President Biden, and he ends up winning the election, when you come to school on Wednesday, you should also be respectful in your celebration of your chosen candidate. More on that this week in advisory, because the day following election, we're going to spend a little bit of time debriefing some community expectations that aren't directly related to the election, but I think you'll see that there's a connection between the two, and this new resource of a set of community expectations I think will be a really helpful one for all of us. So expect for advisory this week to be a fairly serious kind of environment, and I think you'll enjoy it too, so look forward to that. And then final note, a word about our discussion about COVID. So we do a lot of things to help make sure that everybody stays safe in the middle school. We wear masks, we wash our hands, we clean surfaces, we stay 6 feet apart. We do all the things that you have to do to try to mitigate our risk to being exposed to the coronavirus. Mitigate means like lessen, right? And yet the numbers that are in the world around us are moving in a direction that candidly is a little bit troubling. In our community, there are more and more people diagnosed with COVID-19 every day than there were about a month ago. And from where I sit, it feels like that it's coming kind of closer to us. What that means is the other thing that's coming closer to us is an opportunity to talk about our friends who are out sick or who have taken a COVID test and are waiting for the results, or who have taken a COVID test and have already gotten the results and they know that they're positive. Remember that whenever you talk about somebody's health or somebody's safety or somebody's well-being, that you're talking about a private issue. And so if you have information about a student who is quarantining because they've been exposed or is isolating because they have been infected, it's really, really important that you're respectful with that information and that you deal with it appropriately. The coronavirus is not something to run around with a bunch of energy about and sort of get excited around. I know that when we don't quite know how to respond to things that are difficult, it causes us to act in all sorts of sort of impulsive ways. But I want you all to resist the urge to act impulsively and sort of like celebrate the diagnosis of one of your friends with COVID-19. It's not something to celebrate, nor is it something for us to shout from the rooftops. Please deal with that information respectfully, and with a degree of discretion. So, with all of that said, and apologies again for sort of a long series of announcements this week, we're going to move on to birthdays. Ella Wilner and Aniston Mahaffey are telling us who are our birthday celebrators this week. Ella and Aniston, who's on the list?
Hi, middle school. I'm Ella Wilner. And I'm Aniston Mahaffey, and these are the birthdays for the week of November 2nd through 8th. In 6th grade, we have Jonathan Packard.
And Nadira China.
And in 7th grade, we have Eliza Craver.
And Hayden Santry.
And in 8th grade, we have Lila Church.
And Colton Trapp.
Happy birthday!
That was so great, girls. Thank you, and happy birthday to everybody that's celebrating one this week. Up next is Jack Miller to get your belly rumbling. Jack, tell us what Dr. Clark is cooking this week.
Hey everybody, it's Jack Miller coming at you with another weekly lunch segment. On Monday we have grilled cheeses. On Tuesday it is penne pasta. On Wednesday, it's chicken teriyaki dumplings. And on Thursday, it is turkey club. Have a great week, everybody.
Great job, Jack. And now, riddle me this, riddle me that. Nate Smith is back with another riddle of the week. Nate, what should we be wrapping our heads around this week in your Riddler's Corner?
Hi everyone! Last week was a real challenge because I didn't get that many answers in the halls. The answer was a tree, because a tree only lies down once, which is when it dies. This week's riddle is, what is so fragile that even saying its name can break it? I'll tell you the answer next Monday. Bye!
Woo, Nate, that one's tricky. My mind is like melting. I think it's dripping out of my ear. Sorry, I'm still in sort of the Halloween spirit. But that holiday is not this week. There are a bunch of holidays this week, though. And back for his weekly segment is Mr. Dandola to tell us which holidays we should be celebrating this week. Mr. Dandola!
Good morning, friends. Happy November. There are some great holidays coming at us this first week of our third month together at GCDS. Monday is Look for Circles Day. They're out there. Aside from Election Day, Tuesday is also Sandwich Day. Sandwiches. Wednesday is Stress Awareness Day. It's a great day to renew our mindful practices. Get in some stress-relieving exercise, draw, paint, create some music, hang with friends, listen to nature, express your gratitude, and find your flow. Thursday is the 5th of November. It's Bonfire Night. This holiday is celebrated in England and British territories and colonies around the world, like our neighbors to the north. The holiday is a festive one, often including big fireworks shows akin to those of our Independence Day celebrations, and it commemorates the foiling of a notorious plot to violently overthrow British Parliament way back in 1605. Friday is Saxophone Day. Enjoy the week, Tigers!
Thank you, Mr. Dandola. And now, the moment that we wait for every week, my favorite segment and yours, the Luke Merrill Tongue Twister Challenge. Luke is back to give us this week's Tiger Tongue Twister and to tell us who were the finalists of last week's challenge and, of course, who the winner is. Luke Merrill, give us this week's Tongue Twister.
Hey everybody, we had a lot of great submissions last week, and here are our best submissions.
Can you can a can into an uncan can, like a can or can a can into an uncan can?
Can you can a can into an uncan can, like a can or can a can into an uncan can?
Oh, that was sick!
Can you can a can into an uncan can, like a can or can into an uncan can?
So, in third place, we have, drumroll please, Austin Nelson. Woo! Yeah. Second place, we have Christina Estak. She was beat this week. And now, who could beat Christina Estak? The one, the only, Katie Culverhouse. Congrats, everybody. This was a great week with our cans. This coming week's tongue twister is, how many berries could a bear berry carry if a bear berry could carry berries? Good luck, everybody.
Oh my gosh, no way! Barn burner, unbelievable! Katie Culverhouse! You took the prize this week. That is awesome. And in the process, you kept Christina Estak in the number 2 slot. Christina is always threatening up there at the top of the leaderboard. Katie Culverhouse, you're this week's hero. Congratulations. You were the one that prevented Christina from making it to the top of the leaderboard. But Christina, I know that this just makes you want it even more. And so you'll be back next week, and I'm sure close to the top as always. Tigers, enjoy another great week in the middle school. I hope everybody is off to a great start, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the halls.